Well, good evening, everyone. All you Indiana Patriots, welcome to the July State Call. And we're going to get started here because we got a lot to cover tonight, and going to be bringing on a lot of people. So we're going to need to watch our time. So let's get started. First of all, let's look at the agenda for this evening. We're going to go over, as we normally do, our vision and mission statement, our aspirational goals. We've got a couple people that are going to share their Convention of State stories with us tonight during story time. Then we'll get into grassroots, got different things to cover in grassroots, our tracking updates. We'll touch on education and training, talking about introduce some new leaders to you tonight. Then we'll get into the legislative area with Paul, and comms team with Ken Shuba. And then time permitting, we're going to try something different tonight. We're going to try a round the horn type thing where everybody will get an opportunity to say a few words if you want to. You don't have to, but thought we would try that tonight so that everybody, at least everybody, has an opportunity to say something. So we're going to give that a shot tonight. All right, let's get started. Vision statement. Our vision here in Indiana is to build a Hoosier grassroots community of citizens and legislators dedicated to the constitutional concept of self-governance. We're going to be talking about self-governance tonight. We've got some good examples, and I think you're going to enjoy what we have for you tonight with regard to self-governance. So that's our vision statement for Indiana. Now we have aspirational goals. If you remember, we introduced these at our state call in June. These are Convention of States aspirational goals, but they certainly apply to us here in Indiana. And number one, to organize and restore representative government as defined by our Constitution. Restore a culture of self-governance in America, and to inspire a political and spiritual awakening based on the founding of our country. So those are aspirational goals. Those are lofty goals that we always try to strive and achieve. Mission statement, still the same. Number one, we want to accomplish these by the end of this year. And the first one is to fill all of our support positions. We're going to be talking about that a bit tonight. Fill all the region captain positions and fill 70% of the district captain positions. Now, for those of you district captains that are on the call for the first time, as you know from your training, we're based on lower house districts, and there's 100 of them. So our objective, our mission for this year, of course, the mission statement includes goals that gets us closer to achieving our vision, but we're shooting to have 70% of those district captain positions filled. That would be 70 district captains in place, and we have a ways to go, I'll be honest with you. And we'll get into that in a little bit here. Second mission statement goal is for each district captain to meet at least once with each of your legislators and present the 34 Ready strategy. And Paul will be talking about that. We have I think a success story in that respect tonight, and Paul's going to be addressing that. And then the final mission statement goal is grassroots growth to 30,000 supporters. When we started this in a little over a year ago, we had about 15,000 supporters in this state of Indiana, and we want to get to 30,000 by the end of this year. So we'll be providing some information on where we are regarding these mission statement goals. All right, let's get into story time. And we have two young men this evening that are going to share their Convention of States story. First will be Region Captain Gary Harbaugh, and next will be one of our SIAs, who is also a district captain, Tim Heidenreich. So Gary, are you on and you ready to come on camera and say a few words?
I'm here and ready, and if people want to look at me, they'll probably wish they hadn't, but anyway, here we are. So I'll tell you a little about my Convention of States story. For quite a long time, I have studied the 17th Amendment and its effect, and how it really upset the separation of powers and the checks and balances in our Constitution. So in 2012, I ran for the Indiana State Legislature, campaigning on the idea of Indiana leading the call for an Article 5 convention for the purpose of repealing the 17th Amendment. And in that election, I kind of got my head handed to me, but I learned some things from that, and sometime not too long after that, Mark Levin's book came out. I read the book, signed the petition, and I don't know, I guess I offered to volunteer or something, and some guy named Dale called me, and the next thing I knew, I was a district captain in 2 districts, and kind of been bit by the Convention of States bug, and I really want to see this happen, and I'm confident that we can get there if we keep up our efforts.
All right, Gary, good deal, good deal. Someone sent me a message asking if I could blow up your picture on there, and I can't figure out how to do it, so I'm sorry about that. But Gary's a handsome guy. Take my word, he's a handsome guy. All right, Tim, are you on? Now I know, Tim, you don't have a camera, so we're going to have audio only. So
I'm here. Can you hear me clearly?
Can hear you very clearly, yes.
Okay, great. Well, my name's Tim Heidenreich. I live in Indianapolis. You can see a picture of my beautiful bride there. We've been married 46 years, and I'm a retired soldier and a Vietnam veteran, and right now I'm serving as a SIA for the state and also DC for 86 down here in Indianapolis. And I'm very patriotic and have been for a long time. And when the Tea Party came out, I got involved in the Tea Party. And then later, when I found out about this, back in 2016, I got tied into the surge that was going on down at the State House with Diane and a bunch of the people. And so I started going down there and meeting guys. And it didn't seem like there were very many of us at the time, but David Waters and Dr. Dan Strong and a bunch of guys were down there, so it was a nice crowd of people. And then David Waters called me one day and said, you know, we really need district captains. This was around December or so of 2016. And he said, would you be interested in being a district captain? And I said I would, because we needed one. But then I found out we also needed guys that had some computer experience, so I said, well, I'd really like to be an SIA too. So since probably for a year and a half or so, I've been an SIA and a DC and learning what's going on with these systems. There's quite a few systems. They're very good systems that we have. Our programmers work really hard to get this stuff straight. So I'm enjoying it, and I'm glad Dale's running the show here and keeping us organized. We have regular meetings and that kind of stuff because being a retired military guy, that's the way I like it. So I'm glad you're doing it, Dale.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, great, Tim. Yes, for you new district captains, as Tim mentioned, he's an SIA, a Systems Information Analyst. So if you're having a problem with Citizen Builder or anything, or Slack or any of the technology programs that we utilize, Tim is the guy to call. We also have an SIA by the name of Jerry Rowe, and we're going to be introducing you tonight to another SIA that's in training right now. So believe me, we are very blessed in the state of Indiana to have these gentlemen to serve as SIAs for us. Very important role in the state. All right, guys. Anybody have any questions for either of these gentlemen or anything that we've covered so far?
We get contact numbers?
They are on the leadership list. Okay. I'll get that to you, Larry, if you want it.
Oh, I think I've got it.
Okay. Yep.
Slack, Dale.
On Slack, yes. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm having trouble with, Slack.
Phone number for me. You ready to copy? I'll give you my phone number.
Go ahead.
317-910-2992.
2996?
No, 2992.
2992. Thank you.
You bet.
All right, guys. All right. Moving on here. Let's get into grassroots. I know George is on the call with us tonight. Are you still here, George?
Yeah, I'm hanging around. Kind of got to, don't I?
Yes, you do. George is our grassroots coordinator, so when we get to this section, always have him there to chime in when he's got anything he wants to say or comment on. So let's get going then into the grassroots area. I want to once again touch on positions that we still have open and that we're looking to fill. And of course,
Chris Miller. Sorry.
Oh, Chris.
Hi. Sorry about that. It asked me to introduce myself.
That's okay. Hang in there. Hang on. We're looking always for district captains, and we're going to get into the district captain status where we stand. We have many more district captains that we need to bring in. We're still looking for an event coordinator, coalitions director, a veterans coalition coordinator, videographers, and a media liaison. So those are some positions that we are looking for. Who's on camera there? Oh, Dallas?
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay. Turn your camera off right now, Dallas, if you would.
All right.
Okay. Now, I want to touch on our need for region captains. We have 9 regions in this state, and we only have one, albeit he is a very good region captain. We only have one region captain. So I'm really hoping here that with our new district captains that we're bringing on board, that we're going to get some region captains that want to step up and get promoted to the region captain rank. So, because we are really in need of region captains. And when you're a region captain, you're a manager, okay? You'll be recruiting, you'll be training and educating the district captains in your region, recruiting new district captains for the districts that you don't have a region captain in place. So the region captain position is truly a leadership position in our organization. So I'm really asking for you district captains, if you're interested at all in stepping forward and stepping up, please let me know, because we really need you. Now, I want to share something with you. This is kind of a vision that came to me here recently. You know, as state director, I'm involved in other calls and in contact with other state directors. And I'm always asked, well, how are you doing in Indiana? How are you doing? You know, how are things going in Indiana? Well, a vision that I came up with, you know, I'm a car guy. I have an old car that I like to show at local car shows. So what came to my mind was that of a engine, a V8 engine, and the 8 pistons in that engine. And we are running on about 4 pistons, 4 cylinders. It's been worse, believe me. It was worse 6-8 months ago. It is getting better, but we are running on about 4 cylinders, and the 4 that we're still working on, the coalitions director and the state media liaison, those cylinders are not firing at all. Those 2 cylinders are not firing at all. As far as region captains and district captains, those cylinders are firing. We have some very good district captains that have come on board. We have, of course, Gary is a region captain, but we only have 1 out of 9 in place. So those 2 cylinders are not firing at full fire. As far as the other cylinders here, grassroots, legislative, comms, education, training, I feel like we're full. Those cylinders are firing very well. So out of 8 cylinders, we're running on about 4. So we're getting better. We're getting better, but we want to get this engine purring. We want to get firing on all cylinders, and we're going to get there. I know we are. It's just going to take some time, but we want to get a engine in the state of Indiana purring and running to its fullest extent. So I just thought I'd share that with you, and just something that came to my mind. Okay, let's talk about now. You've seen this before. This is our region breakdown across the state, and you can see the 9 regions that we have, and the red filled districts. Those are the districts per region. The red filled ones are the ones where we have district captains in place. Some of them could be very early in their training. Some could be existing district captains. But we have 28 officially right now in place. So that means we've got 72 more districts to fill in the state of Indiana. Now, our goal, if you remember right, our goal is to fill 70% of those, of the 100 districts, which would be 70 districts. And here down below, I've got a breakdown that by region, to achieve the 70% mark, these are the numbers that each region would have to hit as far as district captains. So region 1 needs 8. All these regions need 8, 6 in region 5, 10 in region 7, okay? And the red line here indicates how many district captains are remaining to be filled in each of these regions to achieve the 70% mark. So we've got a couple regions here, Region 3 and Region 5, that are close, very close. Both of those are within 2 district captains of achieving the 70% mark. So, but we have a ways to go. We still have a ways to go in these other regions.
Hey, question, Dale.
Yeah.
Do you know what other states, I mean, is 70% normal? Is there any other states that have 70, or how would you say that is?
You know, that's a good question, Tim. I really don't know. Rodney, are you on tonight? Angie, would you happen to know?
Hey there, Dale. I just unmuted myself. No, Rodney's on another call. I think 70% is a very good goal. You know, ultimately our goal is 100%. We want to fill every district with a district captain and a VC team. And I think that we're well on our way to doing that. So you are all doing a great job in Indiana.
Do you happen to know, are there other states trying to, I mean, is 70%, is that a normal, acceptable level in most other states, you know?
That's a very good question, Dale. In my home state of Texas, we probably reached about 70% as far as district captains. So, of course, after adoption of the resolution, there's always a little bit of a setback in past states. And you kind of have to rebuild the team because a lot of people didn't understand the long-term goal. And so they were really just committed to the short-term goal. And after adoption of the resolution, you know, they decided it was time to move on or to just kind of, you know, lay back a little bit. So no worries. I think 70% is a reasonable goal. And like I said, ultimately we want to fill every district with a district team. So you guys are doing awesome.
That's again, Tim, that's a good question. I'm going to find out. I will inquire about that. That's a good question.
Okay, thanks.
I'll inquire further about that. Anybody else have any questions on this particular chart?
Nope, this is Jerry. I don't know if you knew I got on, but
Oh, I didn't see you here.
yeah, out picking garden, just made it back.
Okay, let's look then at our grassroots tracking, which we, of course, we measure this in the form of petitions signed in a given month. Looking here at the bottom now, when we started this, we had about 15,000. Okay, somebody, Jerry, are you muted?
No, but I can be.
If you would, we're getting some feedback there. We needed to add 15,000 new petition signers in our state to achieve the 30,000 goal number that we had set. So that's what we're striving for, to add 15,000. We here are the numbers for the month of July. Region 3 led the way with 96 petitions signed. We had a total for the state of 671. That gives us remaining a little over 5,000 to get to our 30,000 mark. And these on the right, these are the outstanding districts in each region, with District 68, Larry Wee Wee, and we're going to be talking about him pretty soon here. But his district led the way for the state in the month of July with 22 petitions signed. This is one I like to do in a graph form here. In order to achieve our goal, each region needed to get about just under 1,700 new petition signers by the end of this year. Here you can see where they set right now we have a couple regions here that are getting close to achieving their goal. Here in Region 4, Region 6 is coming on good, and we still have some other regions that are in play, and we've got a couple that are struggling. So the little green one bar down here, that's what was signed in the month of July. So, does anyone have any questions, comments on any of our tracking information here? Okay. Well, let's get into then. Let's touch on our education and training. Rachel, are you on tonight? I know Rachel was. She's still moving, and I think she's got herself finally in her new house, but things are pretty hectic. She's still got things all packed away, so I thought she was going to join us tonight, but she's going to beg off again tonight. We will have her on definitely next month. So let's get on then with new leaders that we've brought in. And we've got 3 new district captains that came in July. Jim Janess, District 35, Michael Wagner, 53, Damon Hawks down in 78. We've got 3 district captains that have completed Module 2, and I think actually have even completed more than Module 2. And hopefully then in August we'll be able to recognize these 3. That's Kim Webb in District 89, Isaac Deal in 43, Clinton Wiggins in District 4. Clinton, I know, is on tonight. So we'll be recognizing you folks even further in our August state call. But we've got 3 individuals that have completed their district captain training, and I always like to give them an opportunity to come on camera and say a few words. Ed, are you on tonight? I think I saw your name.
Yes, I am, Dale.
All right, you got a camera yet? There you are.
I am.
Now, Ed is an existing district captain. He actually took over District 85, which was my district when I started. So Ed, congratulations on getting through the training finally.
Yeah, thank you. I'm still reviewing notes.
So what do you think of the training, Ed? And tell us a little bit about yourself.
I think the training was well organized. I had a couple of lengthy conversations with Rachel. We're fortunate to have somebody with her enthusiasm and knowledge of the overall system that we use to communicate. And I had a conversation as well with Paul Phillips in the last part of it. And I've gotten to know George Ward a lot better. We've been exchanging notes. And as you know, I've got an enthusiastic helper coming along here, Lola Foster. I don't see that he's signed up for tonight, but he and I have been working to have a booth at the Maumee Valley Gas Engine Show coming up mid-August. So as far as my involvement, I don't think I have any notes, but I can tell you what it was that convinced me to do this. It was the night that Mark Meckler spoke at the downtown library in Fort Wayne, and I don't even remember how long it's been. I think it was 3 years ago this coming fall.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and I don't remember when I signed the petition, but it wasn't long after that you and I had coffee in New Haven, and you signed me on as a volunteer. And I managed to recruit 25 or 30 signatures from among people that I had worked with primarily, and a few neighbors. And next thing I know, I'm not sure exactly how the conversation went, but I wound up taking your position as district captain of 85, and that was after I had attended a number of the meetings that you did at the Georgetown Library, and then we did a few together at the New Haven Library. We've seen some things that worked and some more things that didn't work. I have great hopes for this event coming up in mid-August. They tell us that the gate for that 4 days is somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 people.
Wow. Wow.
Many of them are rural people, residents of East Allen County. So I'm expecting a pretty good response there. I hope to get a few hundred signatures over that 4 days.
Well, good deal, Ed. I plan on featuring you and Lowell next month on your booth. So it sounds like you've got a good helper there, co-district captain. So looking forward to featuring you guys next month.
Yeah, I have a pop-up canopy that I got to check to make sure it's okay, and I have to scare up a table yet. And I think you said you volunteered to loan your banner.
Yeah, I got the banner for you.
And somebody's having one made to go across the top of the canopy. I don't remember what the legend's going to say, but it's going to bring up the topic of term limits.
Right.
So I think we'll have plenty of attraction. We're going to meet one of the main men involved with that organization the Sunday before, so that we know where we will set up and everything will be ready.
All right. Good luck on that, Ed. Thank you.
Hey, Ed. This is George. Hey, Ed, this is a 3-day event, right?
4 days. It starts on a Thursday and winds up about 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon.
Oh, okay. How many people you got lined up to man the booth so far? You need help with that, or how can people get on?
We will need help. Lowell is making a spreadsheet, and he and I will keep our names off it until we see who can volunteer for what. These things run probably 12 or 13 hours, but they said if we would man the booth, I think the hours were 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's roughly 11 hours, and we figured we could do a couple of 4-hour shifts and a 3-hour shift. So I got to get Lowell to put that together and shoot you a copy so you can distribute it. And I know Gary Harbaugh said he could help, and he has some folks that he said would probably agree to help as well. So if we could get between 15 and 20 people, especially for some of the busier hours, because if you're there around a meal time, the crowd gets bigger because a lot of people come just for a meal. So it'd be nice to have 2 people at the booth at least during the busy times.
And this is located in just east of New Haven. I looked it up on Google Maps, right?
Yes. If you go out what used to be Indiana 14, which is due east out of New Haven and follow the railroad track, it's out there just before you get to what used to be called Casad. If you turn north going out of New Haven on Webster Road, you'll go right by the entrance.
Okay, so you got Fort Wayne, then New Haven, and then the event center and stuff, right? So.
Okay, guys, I gotta move on here.
Okay,
good luck.
Check that out.
All right, Dallas, you on tonight? Dallas Halcomb. I know I saw him earlier.
There we go.
There you go, Dallas. You got your camera on there. Dallas is a brand new district captain, just finished his training, so congratulations, Dallas. Now you disappeared again.
Uh-oh.
So I'm going to try something here. Turn mine off. There you go. So Dallas, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you thought of the training and where are you located?
I am located about 40 minutes northwest of Indianapolis, between Indianapolis and Crawfordsville.
Okay.
So I have in Hendricks County is most of my area. Hendricks County, parts of Montgomery County, which is Crawfordsville, some of Putnam County, and then on farther down, a little farther south in a couple of counties.
Okay.
Just ready to get started or be started on it. I've worked a little bit on the list. Just meeting or talking to a few people who have already signed the petition, but seem to be had made mention that they were thought of volunteering.
Okay. All right. Well, good. Welcome aboard, and best of luck to you. And we'll be in touch with you.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Dallas.
Thank you.
All right. Chris Miller, are you on there?
I'm trying to show you my face for
There you go. There you are. Okay.
All right. If you hear dogs in the background, don't think anything about it. So, I apologize.
Now,
So,
Chris is a SIA. We did put him through the district captain training, or a modified version of it, and he's now involved in the national training that all SIAs receive. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Chris, and how you're coming with the training.
Yeah, thanks. Well, first of all, thanks everyone here. That's the most precious thing we got on this earth is time. So, and I think it really is. I think it's great that everybody's making this commitment to try and better our country in this way. So, thank you, Dale. Thanks for bringing me aboard. Jerry too. Jerry Rose, spoke with him, and Rachel, if you're on, thank you for the first modules training for the state. And so yeah, I'm my wife and I live here on near Fishers. Actually, we're on the northeast side of Indianapolis, so I'm a soft developer in Fishers. So I got involved in the COS, and I think I signed the petition in 2016. But of course, like most people, I think that are involved here, probably heard about it before then. I met Diane Gomez at a Hamilton County meeting. So the training I'm going through now is with Jason Gerard. It's for the national, and there's a spreadsheet to go through, kind of step by step to go through. And one of the things I'm ashamed to say, good to see you too, Jerry. Ashamed to say that one of the tasks on there is to actually call your Congress member, both representative and in the Senate. So, and I have not done that ever. So I don't know how many people here have, but I'm going to definitely be doing that. And I know it's during business hours, so I'm going to be doing that probably this coming week. So I get that off my list.
Chris, don't feel bad. I had never talked with my state legislators. Never ever did that. So it was kind of scary to do it the first time. Come to find out, my state senator just lived a few blocks from me. So
imagine that.
So don't feel bad. Don't feel scared about that. We can help you through that. Paul, our legislative liaison, can give you some tips on doing that. So
you've got a great video and also a blog.
Right.
That helps with that. So I'm actually looking forward to it and kind of working on my by presentation of, at first find out, knowing how they voted, if they did, which the two that are in office now were not in office.
Okay.
At the time. But you can still find out if they're not for it, why. What are their arguments against it?
Right.
And hopefully I can use that to kind of turn the tables and kind of put the opposite side, the pro-COS arguments out.
Okay. All right. Well, good deal, Chris. Thanks for coming on, and looking forward to seeing you more as you get finished with your training.
Thank you. Likewise.
Okay. I wanted to mention one other leader, and that's Paul Phillips. Paul's going to be speaking to us here very soon about some things. But as you know, Paul has been promoted to co-state director or assistant state director. And I want to just make everyone aware we've got some actual duties for him to begin with here. Paul is going to, if you recall my engine analogy, where we're missing a coalitions director and a state media liaison, Paul is going to focus on recruiting for those two positions and doing what's necessary to find people to fill those two positions. And then Paul is also going to, if you recall, at our last call we talked about a state strategy plan. Well, we're going to be working on that more, and Paul is going to head up and organize that and take us all through that process. So Paul is going to be busy on those three items for the rest of this year, and we'll find some more things for him to do as time goes on. So just wanted to mention that to you. Didn't know where to inject this, but I just thought this is kind of a training or an educational item. We have a new mapping feature in Citizen Builder. Now, I won't go into a lot of detail on this tonight, but I put on our general channel in Slack. I posted a link to a training video on this mapping feature, and it's really cool. You can go in on this mapping feature, and you know how you've all wondered, well, who else in my area, in my district, where do my volunteers live? Where do the what volunteers, what supporters do I have in my neighborhood? This has a lot of potential for you as a district captain for planning purposes. And it's also something that you can interface with your legislators with. So I urge you, please go to the general channel, click on that link, and watch this training video, and go into Citizen Builder and play with this. This is a really cool new feature that we have. Anybody have any questions?
Dale, this is Rodney.
Yes, Rodney.
I just moved from New York to Indiana. Yeah. So I didn't know this slide was coming up. When I think it was Ed, new district captain, talking earlier. He was talking about an event and looking for help.
Right.
Yeah. So this is a perfect opportunity here.
This would be a good tool for him to use, wouldn't it?
Yeah. When I was doing Missouri and not the regional director position I'm in right now, I did gun shows and other things. One perfect example is we had Mark Meckler here in state. We'd gone to the Capitol that day, and we were gathering people at a restaurant up near St. Louis in the evening, and we wanted to invite people there. So we drew a polygon around the area in St. Louis, and it gives you access outside your district. You can do the whole state if you want. I don't know that you can access the people in Nation Builder once you get the ID of the person, but Dale can help with that. So we also expanded that polygon. I live in St. Louis, so we drew the polygon over across the Mississippi River into Illinois. And we invited people from Illinois and around St. Louis to that event that evening. So for that event he was talking about earlier, it's awesome to try that, get the list of people and send an email out saying, got an exciting thing that you really want to help with, and it'll only take a couple hours. So there you go.
All right. Thanks, Rodney. Hey, Rodney, while I got you, you still on there?
Yeah.
We had a question earlier when we were talking about trying to achieve the 70 district captains in our state where we have 100 districts. Is that which would be 70%, is that a typical amount for a lot of districts to have, a lot of states rather, to have 70% of their districts filled with district captains? Is that a reasonable number?
I would say in most states it's a reasonable number. The problem is well, not a problem, but, well, I'll put it another way. The way you guys are doing it and building the team slower and getting active district captains and people are dedicated and passionate about convention of states to save the country, you're doing it right. Where other states where they may have 70% of their districts, the district captains and districts, I can tell you that most likely most of those district captains are not active.
No.
But, yeah.
Okay. So having 70% active district captains is the key, huh?
Yep, that's the key. And that may be a struggle to get 70% in Indiana active district captains, but that's what you want to shoot for, not just position people just to have a person there like has happened in the past.
All right. All right, thanks. Okay, we're going to move on here. We're kind of running behind schedule here. We're going to go over our hour limit, but that's okay. Paul, are you on?
Yes, sir.
Let's, you want to take over now here?
Yeah, and I'll go through this stuff rather quickly to try and get us caught up on time here. As far as 34 ready, we're going to have Thomas Schultz talk to us in a minute about his experience with doing his meeting with a legislator. But I just want to encourage all of you to execute on the 34 ready strategy. And what we're asking you to do is meet with your representative and your senator sometime between now and the end of the year. We'd like to get those meetings in before they go into session in January and just get this strategy on the radar. The next thing on my list is this, Americans for Prosperity Self-Governance Training. We've been working with the local Americans for Prosperity office. They do a fantastic job of grassroots training, and this is some training that's meant to supplement the training that you're doing through Convention of States. And what they've done is put together a custom training session for Convention of States at no charge, and they're even going to feed us. They're going to provide lunch at no charge for a week from Saturday. And this will run from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and any of you are welcome to attend. I know, sir, some of you it might be a drive, but know that you're welcome, but it's certainly not required. But our goal is, if this training proves to be helpful and something that helps us, some of the topics are going to be how to have an effective meeting with your legislator. Another topic is how to craft a short and concise elevator speech to promote Convention of States. Another session is going to cover how to get people motivated and engaged in our cause. So I just encourage any of you who can to attend. I've posted the details on the general Slack channel for Indiana. So just look there, and there's a link to confirm your attendance just so we can order enough food. You know, Gary Harbaugh, George Ward have been through this similar training. I know both of them are excited about it. I guess I'd say the three of us would just highly recommend it and ask that you consider attending that. As far as candidate surveys, you may not know that we have sent surveys to all of the candidates for state General Assembly offices. I sent emails to, I think it was around 265 candidates, asking them to respond to a survey on their position on Convention of States. And in true survey form, we had only 12 responses out of those 265 asked for a response. But the results are on a website that any of you can access. It's called cossurveyed.com. That's cossurveyed.com. And I encourage you to go out there. Be a little patient with it. When you first go to the website, it takes a little while to load all of the data because it's loading data for across the country. But once it loads, you can select Indiana in the drop-down menu. It's very intuitive. And it will list all 265 candidates that we asked to complete the survey. I'd ask you to look for or search for the candidates in your district, and if they have already responded, you can click on a link and see what their response is. If they haven't responded, you can click on a link and it'll load up an email for you to send to them asking for them to respond. So when you have some spare time, take a look at that. The last thing we wanted to cover, and I think the most exciting here, is Thomas Schultz, a district captain who has completed a 34 ready meeting with his state senator, I believe it is. We've asked him to come on and just in a minute or two, just share his experience and what it was like meeting with his legislators. So, Thomas, are you on?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. You got your camera on?
Yeah, I'm up on the screen.
There you are. There you are.
Okay. Now, 34 ready, the discussion with Senator Ratz. He came to the House because he missed his appointment. He was going to work. And we were supposed to meet for coffee and discuss 34 ready. So I sent him an email when I waited for 45 minutes. Came back to the house and sent him an email. He called. He says, can I drop by? I said, sure. He came in. He had this, acted like he needed to go someplace. So I tried to accomplish what I needed to accomplish by hurrying through. And to me, it might not be anybody else, but to me, it might have been not what's the word for it? Accomplishing everything I wanted to accomplish. But we did go over the 2.82 Indiana code. We did get. I gave him two folders, one with the 34 ready information in, and the other one has printed amendments from Liberty Amendments, and the amendments that I wrote back in 2011 and placed on Facebook, but I had them sitting on the opposite side, and they both the amendments were basically the same thing, but Senator Ratz is as kind as he can be, and anybody probably can approach him. I'm just lucky he lives on the east side of Richmond and works in Centerville.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing you want to explain to your senators, your congressmen, is that when Jeff came here, he thought that we had 34 states.
Wow. Wow.
You want to explain to them that we do not have 34 states, but we want them to also, since they do have other jobs, and they might know other senators and other representatives from different states that haven't passed the resolution, to be in touch with them.
Yeah. All right. Great.
That's all I got to say tonight.
Well, Thomas, I want to thank you for coming on. You're, as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, you're the first district captain to do this and present that 34 Ready plan. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks, but I think Thomas is the first one. So you'll be an inspiration to everyone else, Thomas.
Oh, gee whiz.
Yeah.
Is that why you wanted my picture? Is that that?
Yeah, I told Thomas to send me a headshot, and he sure did, didn't he? All right, thank you, Thomas. Thanks for coming on.
Okay.
Paul, you got anything else you want to say? Paul, are you still there?
I just want to encourage everybody to execute on this 30 Ready strategy. And Tom, I think, is just a great example of this is a lot easier than it kind of feels like, and there's no need to be intimidated in meeting with your legislators.
All right, good. All right. Thanks, Paul. Thank you. All right, let's move on to our comms team. Ken, are you on tonight? I think I saw your name.
I am here. Thank you, Dale.
There he is. He is here. What you got going on the comms team?
Comms team is going forward and being busy trying to go ahead and get our state page up. It's the first bullet point on our screen tonight, and I'll give you an update as to what we're doing with that and how close we are. I think we're about ready to launch this page once it gets reviewed. As you know, we have to submit this and let the national team review it and then publish it to go live. The last couple of things that I'm working on to get the page ready to go is not only fill it with a few more interviews and videos, which we have a couple of commitments on. I know one of our new DC captains has volunteered, and we're eager to get a few of those added to our state page. But we are also looking to add a couple of segments to the page which are of interest, and they kind of tie. One of them ties in to some of the things we're talking about tonight with legislators and meetings and keeping in touch with these people. But I'll get to that in a second. The first thing we're going to do is we've added a section which is our I know you're talking about bringing Larry on here to talk a little bit, but Larry Wee has done some writes for a small paper down there, a local paper, and we are able to use his editorials on our state page. So we've actually put that up onto our state page and added that as an additional section to keep people up to speed with some of the things that he's writing. So we're grateful to Larry for his writing and able to add a whole section to our page there. One of the other things that I'm looking at this point and coordinating a little bit with Garrett and some of the other state pages that are in the works and some that have gone up is another thing which I know I'll talk to you more about this, Dale. I didn't get a chance to talk earlier about it, but it's some of the state pages are linking up to a site called Voter Voice. I don't know if anybody else is familiar with it right now, but it's a grassroots advocacy system which is built to basically provide. Well, I'll read off the website so you have a little bit of idea what it is. It's our grassroots advocacy system is perfect for organizations with small, non-technical staff, but is also flexible enough to meet the needs of the most sophisticated operations. set up and launch campaigns in as little as 5 to 10 minutes. With our streamlined interface, your supporters are alerted to the issue, matched to the correct elected officials, and guided through the message sending process in just seconds. So it's kind of a connection site, which I'm trying to get more information from Garrett on how it's being used. But apparently we can put a link on our state page, which will allow us to build and launch advocacy campaigns quickly, track progress with activity reports, mobilize supporters with targeted messages, and provide value with newsletters, surveys, and scorecards. So, and there's a lot there, and I haven't really broken it all down to see how we would use it or how other state pages are using it, or if there's anybody that's got any experience on it with it yet. But I'm looking to get some more detailed information from Garrett. I thought I'd add that tonight to the meeting as something that I think will really help finish off our state page and help us get it kicked off here in August. The launch date, once it's reviewed, is I'm shooting for mid to late August with that, and hope to have our state page up. Anybody have any questions on that before I move on to the last 2 points I've got?
This is Rodney. On the voter voice, we refer to it as citizen voice in conventional states because of the, well, I won't go into it. But anyway, as regional director, I'm the one that has to set up all the stuff in the voter voice, citizen voice. They don't allow the states access to it because it's wide open to everything. And so Ken, you can get a hold of me and we can talk about it. I can walk you through it and all that. We can also use it for events to do RSVPs to get people to sign up and attend events as well. Combine that with a MailChimp email or whatever and get them to a landing page in Citizen Voice to sign up to attend an event.
That would be great because it would fulfill some of the sections of the state page with our goals, really, to be able to add events, and it sounds like it would be perfect. We're looking for ways to add events to our state page and get people involved in that way. So that sounds great, Rodney. I'll be in touch to get some more information on it. I know Garrett's been busy. I haven't been able to talk with him of late, but sounds like I can connect right up with you. Sounds great.
Yeah, he'd probably tell you, see Rodney.
See Rodney. Okay. So that's all right. I appreciate you filling in there. I had just enough there to really kind of tease you tonight with that, but I think that will be something that will really help our state page, and along with our own content writers, and one of the other things I'm doing that are going to do that is kind of already started is at the top of the header on our state page, as you might have seen it once or twice before, is basically some pictures of around Indiana. And I'd like to incorporate a slideshow out of that so that it's kind of a rotating picture deal, and kind of incorporate grassroots pictures. So again, we're getting back to my next point in audios and videos, and we can use pictures. If you've got a grassroots group in your district, and you get some pictures, or even with Thomas here, if he was able to get a selfie, we can use all that stuff and put it into this rotating slide, which will attach to the header of our state page, and it just keeps people it keeps it fresh and keeps people interested. The other thing I was going to mention is if you are not a video person, and Dale and I talked about this, we're all for doing audio and just providing your picture, a headshot. I can actually, if you've got, if you're interested in calling me with a 30 second or a 45 second caption on how you got involved, or anything you want to talk about that you want that we can use, you can call me on the phone. I can record the conversation. You can use your picture and post it. So we're looking for ways to make it easy. We know that not everybody can be out there with their selfie phones or their cameras or whatever and getting video back, but we can use other methods. So we're opening it up to any way that we can use audio, pictures, iPhone, Android pictures, or if you've got a $2,000 Canon, we'll put you to work. But that kind of is the overview on the videos and the audio, what we're doing there. And of course, we are still looking into finding some of these events that we're hoping will come up. We're hoping to do actual Facebook Live promotions for our Facebook page. So those are a few things that are kind of in front of us and in the works, and we're hoping to get it all kicked off in August so that we can really attack this in the fall and make our state page a leader. So that's all I got, Dale.
All right, thanks, Ken. Anybody got any questions for Ken? All right. Let's get going on here. Our next, I'm not going to spend any time on this tonight for the sake of time, but the Region Captain Status Report, we initiated it in July. We're going to expand it in August. So some of you district captains in regions without a region captain, you'll be hearing from me in August. That's all I'm going to say on that right now. Larry, are you coming on board?
I am.
I wanted to feature Larry tonight because of what he has been doing in the month of July. Larry, why don't you tell us what we see here?
Okay. I've spent most of June actually just trying to get organized in my district and start to reach out to the folks who'd already signed, but then along comes the Franklin County Fair, and I know just from living here for a couple of decades that that's probably one of the best outreach opportunities we were going to have. So I was mostly a one-man show, not far enough along with my whole team to engage others, but I did use it as a way to meet some of my team members face to face. I put it out there, hey, we're going to have a booth, and most of this, this county fair, to put it in perspective, our entire county has about 23,000 residents. So when you look at the county fair, most of the activity is in the evening. So I thought if I could at least have this thing manned from, say, 6 o'clock till close, I'd probably reach most of the crowd that would come through, and that seemed to be about right. You can see the picture of the setup. I did add the banner at the top because I really wanted it to really stand out. There's a sidewalk, one of the main passage areas in the fairgrounds, probably 10 feet from the table. So very good visibility. The sandwich board that you see out in front, that was actually a holdover from my Tea Party days, and so I re-employed that. And I have to say, you can't really see it from this picture, but what I have there are just amendment ideas. And I found that was the biggest draw card. Folks, they didn't know what Convention of States was, but when you threw some ideas out there around what some amendment proposals could be, of course, term limits there, 1 page per bill, maybe a limited charter time for any new government organizations or agencies that are set up. Those were the things that drew people in to find out more about who we are and what we're doing. And at a fair, a lot of times folks have little kids with them, and that they're not going to sit there too long. So I gave them some handouts, but one of the things that I thought was a really quick, easy thing to do, I actually made up business cards. Indiana background on the front, just all my contact information on the front, and then the Convention of States website on the back, and handed those things out rather prolifically. And so now there were a few folks who recognized the name because you see the column there for Brookville Democrat. I've actually been writing that column now for 8 years. A couple of folks had to come along and fuss with me a little bit about some columns that I'd actually written years ago. I was surprised that I didn't remember what I'd written, but they did. So, but the reason I wanted to hit on that is, this week after the fair, I published another column that, threw some things out, some complimentary things about the people in general and how they care about the state and care about their country and, care about the futures of the family, but also used the back half of the column then to educate what I found was the biggest single thing that was missing. It wasn't hard to sell people on the idea. You know, frankly, most of the folks who came were pretty enthusiastic, but they had no understanding of Article 5.
Yeah.
And so, so I used the back half of the column to again just teach Article 5, because when people understand what's possible, then they start to get fired up about it. So,
Larry, I wanted to ask you back on your booth. Did you have a way set up for people to actually sign the petition there, either online or a manual?
I wish I would have had an electronic means to sign online. I found the forms that you sent, honestly, afterwards, but I did have a sign-up sheet for anybody who, if they didn't have any access to, to internet, and there were a few, as you might expect, some of the really older patrons came along. So, I did get their contact information, and I'll be mailing the forms to them so we can, we'll capture them.
Could you have had, did you have Wi-Fi capability there? Could you have had a laptop or something?
I doubt it.
All right.
Yeah, I really doubt it at that location.
Okay.
So I guess the thing that I would throw out as far as the column goes, this local paper has been given me space here for free for 8 years. And all it took to get it was ask for it. So,
sometimes you just need to ask, huh?
Yeah, I mean, the worst they can do is say no. And and what I found was no. He said, they're actually kind of looking for local content, and they usually manage their paper against a certain percentage of paid space versus free space. So, if you've got any local papers that you'd want to get in on that, chances are it may be easier than you think.
Yeah. All right, good. Anybody have any questions for Larry? All right.
Very good.
Well, thanks, Larry. Thank you. What Larry has just done and just displayed to us is an example of self-governance, folks. And I think we need to once in a while recognize all the efforts that have been made and ongoing in what can be termed self-governance. We just saw Larry in his booth and his writing of his column, but we've had a group of us attending Lincoln Day dinners, Paul and John Ackerman doing radio interviews. By the way, we got another radio interview project in the works that hopefully I'll be able to talk to you about in upcoming months. Here's Paul and Gary Harbaugh making presentations. Of course, Paul has his podcast, Free to Be Free. These are all examples of self-governance. So this is what we want to encourage not only our district captains, but volunteers in our districts. These are examples of things to be doing in the area of self-governance. Okay, the thing I wanted to close with tonight, rather than a quote or anything, I wanted to just open it up so we could quickly go around the horn. If anybody, I know we've gone over time tonight, but hopefully you'll bear with us. Anybody would like to say a few words, make it brief, but feel free. This is your time, so feel free to unmute yourself and say something.
Hey Dale, this is Paul. I'm just sitting here very excited. I have to say honestly, this is the best state webinar I've been on since joining Convention of States.
Oh, really?
Because when you think of all the people that have contributed tonight, I think we peaked at around 24 or 25 attendees. It's just neat to see the energy and how this is growing right before our eyes and the effort that everybody's putting into it.
Good deal. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Anybody else?
I have just one quick thing, and it kind of relates to what Larry was doing. I really appreciate the people that go out there and actually talk to the public.
Who's this?
You know, this is Chris. I'm sorry.
Chris. That's okay.
I'm not on video right now, but yeah, you know how much. I mean, we all know how much disinformation and misinformation is out there on the Convention of States, and it's to try and set the record straight, if you will, with people. You know, it takes. I mean, you have to be able to be armed with the facts and a fair bit of patience. I think a good attitude and also competence in what you're trying to put forward. So I'm going to be working very hard at doing that. You mentioned, I think it was you that mentioned, maybe it was Paul, an elevator speech. You know, short, 45 seconds or whatever that you've got to talk to somebody. So
typically, an elevator speech is a minute.
Yeah.
A minute or less. That's about all the attention span you're going to have from someone the first time you meet them. You know. So.
Sure. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on that. I think that holds a lot of value, being able to get out there and as they say right now, red pill someone. So anyway, thanks again.
Well, thanks, Chris. Glad to have you aboard, guy.
You bet.
Anybody else?
Yeah, this is George. Two quick items. First of all, the Americans for Prosperity, the AFP training in Fort Wayne. I'd really like to emphasize the specialty of their training. They excel in training grassroots leaders, grassroots volunteers. They're excellent training, so really try to be there if you can. It is free, so it just costs you, the travel time. It takes me about something over an hour or so to get there, so just plan the whole day for it. It's an excellent networking opportunity. Meet other people in Convention of States. They're doing this especially for Convention of States, so we got to have a good showing for this. And secondly, I'd also like to push the event coming up at Maumee Valley Antique Steam and Gas Engine Show. New Haven is east of Fort Wayne, and the show is east of New Haven. Probably a bit of a drive, but we're going to be needing volunteers to help us man the table. So try to be there. Also, if you have any materials you might want to contribute for the table, pass outs, anything of that sort, those would probably be welcome too. You can get hold of either Ed or Lowell on Slack or me, and we'll make the connection that way. All right, and excellent meeting tonight, Dale. Glad to have you around.
Thanks, guys. Just another word to reiterate: this AFP training is August 4th, and if this looks like a good thing, look for this to be available. I know they would like to do this, but look for this to be available in other AFP offices in Indiana. So, and I think they would even like to go beyond the state. So, but we'll see. We'll take it a step at a time here. Anybody else have anything to say?
Yeah, hi, it's Rachel.
Hello, Rachel. All right.
I've been here for a while, but yeah, I just want to say hi to everybody. I've been kind of MIA. Most of you know that I've just moved, so I'm a weekend. Trainings are back up. Just had one tonight, so if anybody needs me for anything, I'm around. That's it.
Thanks, Rachel. Good to hear. Anybody else?
Yeah, welcome back, Rachel. This is Ken. I had to get on and welcome Rachel back, and I want to ditto what Paul said. It's just good to see the excitement and the growth. So dittos and great meeting, Dale.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else? I noticed Kim. Are you on here tonight, Kim?
I'm here.
Hi. Kim is one of our new district captains in the Indianapolis area, and should be featuring you even more in our August call. But glad to have you on tonight, Kim.
Yeah, thanks. I've enjoyed it. It has been a very informative meeting. This is my first meeting, but it sounds like it's been a winner, so congratulations to you.
Well, good. I'm glad you could join us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. I look forward to many more.
You bet. Good. All right. Anybody else? Okay. Let's see. Is there anybody else here that I've missed hearing from you? Larry, you still on with us tonight? Larry Hudson?
You bet.
Did you have a good trip out to North Carolina?
I'm leaving tomorrow.
Oh, you're leaving tomorrow. Okay.
Yep.
All right. All right. Okay, folks. Well, I think that's a wrap. Again, thank you all for the job you're doing. We're on the right track. We're going to get that engine purring, and we just got a few more steps to go, and we'll get that engine purring along and humming along here in Indiana. So thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Sorry we went a little over, but I think it was worth the time. So thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks, Dale.
Good night.
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 Night, everyone.